Ever hear of netnography? It might sound kind of like something out of Star Trek.
Right.
But it's actually a fascinating way to understand what makes people tick online.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. If you've ever scrolled through online reviews before a trick, you've already dabbled in the kind of data netnographers use.
Interesting.
And in this deep dive, we're going to uncover how it's being used in ways you might not expect.
Okay.
Especially if you're interested in how experiences shape behavior.
What's fascinating about netnography is that it allows us to go beyond surface-level data and really understand the cultural nuances of digital spaces.
Okay.
It's not just about what people say online, but why they say it, how they say it, and what it reveals about their values, motivations, and desires.
The source article we have for you today zeroes in on tourism, which makes total sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
But what makes tourism research such a perfect fit for netnography?
Because tourism is all about experiences.
Right?
Those fleeting, multisensory moments that are incredibly difficult to capture through traditional research methods.
Right.
Think about trying to understand the magic of a sunset stroll on a beach using only a survey. You might get a sense of whether people liked it,
Yeah.
but you'd miss the why behind their feelings.
It's like trying to explain the feeling of riding a roller coaster by just reading its technical specifications. You need to experience it to truly get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where netnography comes in. It allows researchers to tap into those subjective, often unspoken aspects of tourism experiences by analyzing the digital traces left behind by travelers. Their online reviews, social media posts, even the comments they leave on travel blogs.
So it's about understanding how those digital breadcrumbs reveal the bigger picture of why people choose certain destinations, what they're seeking from those experiences, and how those experiences ultimately shape their perceptions.
Precisely.
Okay.
Let's say you're reading a TripAdvisor review about a hotel. Netnography goes beyond just the star rating.
Right.
It encourages researchers to dig into the language used, the emotions expressed, the photos chosen, all those subtle details that can reveal a much richer story than a simple thumbs up or thumbs down.
It's like that saying, the devil is in the details. And in this case, those details can unlock a goldmine of insights into tourist behavior.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so we're getting a sense of how valuable those digital breadcrumbs can be. But it's not just about TripAdvisor reviews, right?
Right.
The article talks about how the scope of netnography has expanded way beyond those early online forums.
Absolutely. Think about how much the internet has changed, even in the last decade.
Yeah.
It's not just about forums and static websites anymore.
Right.
We're living in a world of social media, user-generated content, and increasingly immersive digital experiences.
Yeah.
Netnography has had to evolve alongside those trends.
It's like that old saying, adapt or die. But what does that evolution actually look like? What are some of the new digital playgrounds netnographers are exploring?
Well, take social media, for instance.
Okay.
Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, even niche travel communities on Reddit, they've become gold mines for understanding how tourists share their experiences, what influences their choices,
Right.
and how those experiences shape their identities.
And it's not just about what people post themselves, right? It's about the whole ecosystem, the comments, the shares, the likes.
Right.
Even those ephemeral Instagram stories that disappear after 24 hours.
You've got it. It's about understanding the dynamics of those interactions.
Okay.
The unspoken rules of engagement, the cultural codes embedded within those digital communities.
Right.
And it's not just limited to dedicated travel platforms.
Oh, really?
Even the comment section of a New York Times article about a new travel destination can offer valuable insights.
I never thought about it that way, but it makes sense. It's like those comment sections become microcosms of different perspectives and reactions. Almost like a mini focus group playing out in real time.
That's a great way to put it. And this is where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
We're starting to see netnography being used to study even more immersive digital experiences,
Like what?
like virtual reality tourism or interactions with AI chatbots.
Hold on. Immersive netnography.
Yeah.
Studying tourism in the metaverse. Now that sounds like we've officially crossed over into sci-fi territory.
It might sound futuristic,
Yeah.
but it's becoming increasingly relevant.
Okay.
Think about it. People are already using VR to try before they buy
Yeah.
when it comes to destinations.
That's true.
And AI chatbots are becoming more sophisticated in their ability to provide personalized travel recommendations.
So instead of just analyzing what people say about their trip to Bali, researchers could potentially study how they behave in a VR simulation of a Balinese rice paddy.
Exactly.
Wow.
We can study how people interact with these technologies, the emotions they evoke, and how those virtual experiences might influence their real-world travel decisions.
Okay.
The whole new frontier for understanding the evolving relationship between tourism and technology.
Okay, that's seriously cool. It seems like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
But before we get too caught up in the metaverse,
Right.
let's bring it back down to earth for a moment and talk about how netnography actually works in practice.
Sure thing. So, unlike some research methods that involve collecting massive amounts of data,
Okay.
netnography is more about diving deep into smaller, carefully selected data sets.
Okay.
The source article refers to this as the importance of deep data.
Deep data? It sounds almost philosophical. What exactly does that mean, and how does it relate to netnography?
It's about quality over quantity.
Okay.
Deep data refers to data that's rich in context and meaning.
Okay.
It's not just about numbers or surface-level observations.
Right.
It's about understanding the nuances, the motivations, the underlying cultural currents driving those online behaviors.
So it's not just about how many times someone mentions beach vacation on Twitter,
Right.
but about understanding what they mean by beach vacation.
Exactly.
What kind of images or emotions they associate with that phrase.
Yes.
And what it reveals about their desires or aspirations.
Precisely. And that's where the skill of the researcher comes in.
Okay.
It's not just about passively observing online activity. It's about active interpretation, asking the right questions, and connecting those digital dots to paint a richer, more nuanced picture of human experience.
It sounds like netnographers need to be equal parts digital detective and cultural anthropologist. They're piecing together clues, decoding symbols, and looking for those hidden meanings behind the digital curtain.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And just like any good detective, netnographers have a toolkit of methods they use to uncover those insights.
Okay.
The article breaks down these methods into 6 movements, almost like a dance between the researcher and the data.
6 movements. It sounds almost like a martial art. We've already touched on immersion,
Right.
which I'm guessing is about diving headfirst into those digital environments.
Yes.
What are some of the other moves involved in this dance?
Well, you've also got investigation, which we've alluded to. This is where the researcher becomes a digital archaeologist of sorts,
Okay.
carefully selecting and analyzing those revealing traces left behind by users, specific comments, shared photos,
Right.
even the hashtags they use.
Oh, that reminds me of that fascinating sample from the article about researchers using visual search engines to find and analyze tourism worker tattoos.
Right.
Talk about deep data.
Isn't that a great example? And it highlights how creative netnographers have to be in finding those non-traditional data sources.
Yeah.
Those tattoos weren't meant to be research subjects,
Right.
but they ended up revealing a lot about the culture and identity of tourism workers in a particular destination.
It's like those tattoos became a secret language, a way for those workers to express something about their experiences that they might not even be able to articulate in words.
Yep.
That's incredible. So we've got immersion and investigation.
Yeah.
What are some of the other movements in this netnographic dance? Okay, so we've got immersion, becoming a virtual tourist, and investigation like a digital Sherlock Holmes, searching for clues. What other moves are in a netnographer's repertoire?
Well, sometimes it's not enough to just observe from a distance, and that's where interaction comes in.
Okay.
Imagine a netnographer joining a Facebook group for solo female travelers. Or conducting online interviews with travel bloggers to get deeper insights into their motivations and experiences.
So it's about going beyond the text and actually engaging with the humans behind those digital personas. That makes sense. Sometimes you need to have a conversation to really understand what's going on beneath the surface.
Absolutely. And then comes the integration phase, where the real magic happens. This is where the researcher starts piecing together all those insights gathered through immersion, investigation, and interaction to form a more complete picture.
It's like those crime dramas where detectives are pinning photos and notes on a giant board trying to connect all the suspects and evidence.
Yeah.
Except in this case, it's all digital.
I like that visual. And speaking of visuals, the final movement, incarnation, is all about bringing those findings to life.
Okay.
This could be through a written report, a presentation, or even something more creative like a documentary or a multimedia project.
So it's not just about collecting data, it's about telling a compelling story with it. And that story can then inform everything from marketing campaigns to tourism development strategies.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, we can't talk about the future of netnography without addressing the elephant in the room, artificial intelligence.
Right. The article mentioned this, and it seems like AI could be both a blessing and a curse for netnographers.
Yeah.
On the one hand, it could help sift through massive amounts of data.
Right.
But on the other hand, how can researchers be sure they're studying real human experiences and not just AI-generated content?
That's the million-dollar question. It's true, AI can be a powerful tool for tasks like data analysis, even identifying patterns and trends. But at the end of the day, it's still the human researcher who needs to interpret those findings.
Right.
And separate the digital wheat from the chaff, so to speak.
So it's about using AI as an assistant, not a replacement for human insight and critical thinking. It's reassuring to know that those uniquely human skills are still essential in this increasingly digital age.
Absolutely. And, as we've been talking about all these techniques,
Yeah.
it occurs to me that in a way, we're all casual netnographers now.
Oh, I like that. Explain what you mean.
Think about it every time we scroll through social media, read online reviews, or get into those heated comment section debates. We're engaging in a form of netnography, whether we realize it or not.
It's true. We're constantly evaluating the credibility of information online, trying to decipher tone and intent, and piecing together narratives based on the digital crumbs people leave behind.
Right.
We're all amateur digital detectives in a way.
Exactly. And while most of us aren't analyzing online data with the rigor of a trained researcher, being aware of these techniques can help us become more discerning consumers of online information.
So the next time we're about to book a trip based solely on those glowing 5-star reviews, maybe we should channel our inner netnographer and ask ourselves, what's the story behind these reviews? What's the context? And what might those digital breadcrumbs be revealing about the bigger picture?
Now you're thinking like an ethnographer. And who knows, maybe this deep dive has inspired some future digital anthropologists out there to take their online sleuthing to the next level.
I hope so. It's been fascinating to explore this hidden world of online research, and I think it highlights just how important it is to approach the digital landscape with both curiosity and a critical eye.
Well said. Because at the end of the day, behind all the data, behind all the algorithms, there are real human stories waiting to be understood.
And that's what makes netnography so compelling. It's a way to bridge that gap between the digital and the human. So, to our listeners, the next time you're online, take a moment to appreciate the vast and complex world of human experience unfolding in the digital realm. You might be surprised by what you discover.
Absolutely. And who knows, you might even find yourself asking those same questions netnographers ask. What's the story here? And what does it tell us about ourselves and the world we're creating together, online and off?
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of netnography. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those digital minds engaged.